Hey, if you're looking to create a set of financial projections for an optometrist office, and then you've come to the right place because we have built a financial projection spreadsheet template built specifically to help eye doctors and optometrists create financial projections for potential investors and lenders. And I'm going to walk you through this particular template. We have put a link to the template in the description of the video below, so you can go grab the template. And also, as a thank you to you, if you stick around to the end of the video, I'm going to show you how to get a discount code to be able to take a discount on this template as our thank you to you as well. Before I dive too far into the template, just a little bit of background on me. My name's Adam Hoeksema. I'm the co-founder of ProjectionHub, and we built ProjectionHub to help entrepreneurs and small business owners create financial projections for investors and lenders. And I really got inspired to do this because I spent 10 years working as an SBA lender, where we help make small business loans to all sorts of different types of businesses. And during that time, we often asked our clients for financial projections. And I saw what a challenge that was for a lot of small business owners getting hung up on their numbers. And I wanted to try to make that easier. And so we built out a library of 100 or so financial projection templates for all sorts of different industries and business types. And today we're specifically focused on this optometrist template. So I'm going to walk you through this now and show you how it works. All right, so we're starting here on the at a glance tab, and this is kind of the end of the process. So after you've entered in all of your assumptions about your specific office and practice, you're going to come to this at a glance tab where you can see kind of your profit and loss, some key summary data, some different charts and graphs and ratios. You're also going to get a 5-year income statement summary here, a 5-year cash flow summary, a 5-year balance sheet summary, and then your 5 years of income statement, cash flow, and balance sheet all broken down by month for each of the 5 years. So you get all that monthly detail as well as the annual summary. Now, in order to produce all of those reports, we have a little bit of work to do. So we're going to come back here to our input assumptions tab. I'm going to walk you through how to fill this out. So the first thing you need to know is that every cell that's highlighted in blue is an assumption that you can change without breaking something in the model. And so we're starting our projection here on January 1st. We're going to assume this is a startup. So we have zero opening cash balance, but we're going to put in $80,000 of our own money as an initial investment to get the practice off the ground. So we put that in month 1. And we are going to assume accounts payable. This means that we're going to pay 80% of our bills and expenses in the month that the expense incurred. So some of our bills, maybe some of our vendors give us terms where we can pay in 30 days. And so that's what we're assuming here, that 20% of our bills will be paid in 30 days. On the inventory side, we assume we're going to start with just a light amount of $5,000 of initial inventory. And then we're going to continue to carry some inventory. 10% of our total sales we're going to carry as inventory in the office. On the accounts receivable side, we're going to assume that again, since this is a startup, we have zero AR balance, no accounts receivable balance to start, but that our customers are going to pay us on average in 30 days. So if you're kind of billing through insurance and you expect that it's going to take a while after you provide the service to get paid, you're going to put in the number of days you think it will take to get paid on average. Now, if you're not accepting insurance and you're cash payers only, then this number would be a lot smaller, shorter. It'd be zero. You're getting paid at the time of service. Now, for the fixed assets section, this is a lot of our startup costs, right? So we're going to assume that we're renting an office and that we need to do some renovations or improvements to that office to get it ready. So we've got $75,000 of improvements that we're putting in. We're going to amortize that over 15 years. So we're assuming a 15-year lease. Typically, you'd want to kind of tie your leasehold improvements or renovations in a lease space to the length of the lease term. So if it's a 15-year lease, you could put in 15 years in this number. If it's a 7-year lease, I'd probably put 7 here. And we're going to put all these expenses again in month 1 as kind of the start of the model. At the beginning of the model, we're going to have these startup expenses. Now we have $80,000 of equipment, $20,000 of furniture and fixtures in the office as well to round out our startup expenses. And then we are assuming a startup loan of $350,000 at an 8% interest rate on a 10-year term, so 120 months. Now you'll come to this green box down here that says, how much cash do I need? And so we're going to need to come back to this after we have filled everything out and just make sure that what we want to look for is that it says starting cash is sufficient. So right now, based on the assumptions we have on our revenue and expense tabs here, the model's assuming it's going to take us 18 months to reach a cash flow break even. And so we're going to need $143,000 of working capital to help cover us and kind of float during that ramp up period. We're also going to need the $175,000 for these fixed assets and renovations. And then the model is saying, hey, you should have a $40,000 or 10%, roughly 10% buffer. So that amounts to $358,000 in total cash needed. And we have $80,000 from our personal investment plus $350,000 in that loan. So total cash is sufficient. Now let's jump over to our input revenue model here. So we're going to start out by saying that we have 0 current patients. So let's say this is a brand new startup. We have no patients and we have an advertising budget, aggressive advertising budget here of $3,000 a month. And we think it's going to cost us $150 to acquire a new patient. So if we have $3,000 a month divided by 150, that means we're going to have 20 new patients from paid ads per month. Now we also expect to have patients from organic or word of mouth visitors. So maybe when we first open, we expect kind of a initial kind of related to maybe some of our grand opening efforts and whatnot. We have an initial influx of 100 word of mouth customers per month for the first 3 months. And then after that, it goes down to a steady state of 50 per month. So based on the new patients from ads and the word of mouth patients, we have 120 new patients a month. Now, the next thing here is that the model will allow you to put in the maximum number of patients that you think you can have. And so this is going to vary depending on how many optometrists you have in the office, how often you're open, what kind of services you're providing, a number of different things. But what I want to show you is if you were to say, we can only handle 500 patients. If I put in 500, then what the model does is it grows based on these assumptions until it hits 500, and then it just levels out. Okay, so whatever you put in this field, just know the model is going to cap you at that number. So we're going to put a large number there. Maybe you have multiple optometrists in the office and whatnot. This 10% churn rate, this is the percentage of active patients that you expect to kind of leave the practice. They move away, they stop coming, for whatever reason, they leave the practice. So based on all of those assumptions now, we're able to calculate our number of active patients here. From there, we have our different services and products. So we're saying that every new patient is going to have this initial eye exam. And so we've got that set up. And this is highlighted in white because we don't want to actually change this. This is going to be it's calculated differently and it's set for everybody. Every new patient is going to receive this first service line here. So we've got an average fee of $175 and a $9 in material costs, so supplies and any consumables that you need in the process of doing the exam. Now, the rest of these, you can enter in different regular services, so regular eye exam, perhaps LASIK if you do LASIK, or cataract surgery, where you sell glasses and contact lenses in the office. And so you can put in your average fee, your cost for the service. And then this column is the average services per patient per year. So we're saying of these active patients, if we look here in this month, we've got 490 active patients. And we're saying that on average per year of these 490, 33% or 0.33 of those patients are going to come in for a regular eye exam. So you can think of these as kind of percentages, essentially. And so we're saying 3% of active patients are going to have LASIK, 2% of active patients are going to have cataract surgery, 15% of active patients, or 0.15, are going to get glasses each year. So this is each year. Keep that in mind. Now, here's this membership plan. And what we can do with the membership plan is we can assume that this could be for folks that, maybe don't have insurance. This is kind of an insurance option for them. So they can pay a annual membership fee, and then they would get access to some discounted services. And so this is the discount rate. So instead of paying, $150 for a regular eye exam, members are going to pay $50. And you can see the discounts for all of these services. This average percent of fee reimbursed, so this is assuming that if you're, billing through insurance, or you just have, maybe you're unable to collect 100% of what you bill, this is the percentage that you actually expect to collect of what you end up billing. Okay, so here's the membership revenue section. So we're going to assume that 5%, then 7%, then 10% of our active patients are members. And then they're going to be paying $250 in annual membership fees to be members in this program. So that is how you would enter that in. And then this calculates based on all of the assumptions above and the number of members you have. This is the amount of discount that you'd be providing to members based on those assumptions and those discount rates. All right, so then ultimately this calculates your revenue and material cost for the office. And then the next thing we're going to look at is our operating expenses. So you have the ability to enter in your operating expenses as either a fixed dollar amount from this dropdown or a percentage of revenue. And so we're going to say, a fee like accounting might be a fixed dollar amount. But our credit card processing fees, if we're having clients pay with credit card, then that is a good example of something that should probably be a percentage of revenue. And so we enter that in as 0.02. Now, again, this could be different. If you're billing to insurance, and you're probably not going to have that credit card processing fee. But if a good portion of your clients are paying upfront at time of service, then again, this is where the credit card processing fee would be quite relevant for you. All right, now let's move on to our input salaries tab here. So we have the ability to enter in different salary positions. So we've got Optometrist 1 here, and in the Optometrist category, and we're saying the annual minimum salary here is $100,000. And so, and we are saying this optometrist is going to start on month 1 and end on month 36. So after 3 years, we're actually going to hire a second optometrist. So after year 3, and hired in year 4 here, basically, we're going to have optometrist 1 and 2, both starting in month 37. And so this is important because of this variable compensation structure over here. So we have the ability for you to build in a variable compensation where the optometrist gets a percentage of production above and beyond their minimum salary. And so basically, once the doctor has produced enough, has done enough production, enough sales to cover their minimum salary, then they start receiving a 20% commission or variable compensation above and beyond their minimum salary. And so basically the way this is going to work, because we're going to need to look at this monthly, is that we take the $100,000 salary, divide by 12, and determine how much they should make each month. Once they produce that much each month, then anything produced above and beyond that, they're going to get a 20% commission on. So you also need to put in what percentage of revenue is generated by each optometrist. So for the first 3 years, 100% is optometrist 1. But then once the second optometrist is hired in year 4, the beginning of year 4, it splits to 50-50 between the two optometrists. You can also enter in technicians. That could be part-time or full-time, office manager, and front desk employee as well. You can add annual raises and what month those folks will get started, so you can kind of scale that growth and layer in that growth over time. And after you do all that, you're going to be back to where you started here. So at the profit and loss at a glance tab, and we'll want to take another quick look to make sure that this green table still looks good, that our starting cash is sufficient after we've entered in all of our assumptions. So that is the process. If you have any questions as you're going through this, please don't hesitate to reach out to support@ProjectionHub.com. And again, thank you for sticking around to the very end of the video. If you go down to the description of the video below, you're going to find a link to a form. You can fill out that form, and we're going to email you our most up-to-date coupon code that you can use at checkout to take a discount on this particular template. And that's our thank you to you for sticking around. So again, any questions at all, need help filling it out, we're here and available to help you. Support@ProjectionHub.com. Thanks.